Welcome and thank you for clicking on the video. Links to the articles are down below. Now let's get started. Title: My husband won't stop talking to this girl we went to high school with. My 32F husband, 33M, and I have been married for 12 years and we have one 16-year-old son. He has never been big on social media, but he recently started a Facebook account. Almost immediately friend requests started pouring in from our old high school. He's been video chatting with this woman, let's call her Beth, every other day if not more since he started using the app. I have never ever liked this woman. I cannot stress that enough. My husband is not secretive about these conversations, but anytime I bring up my dislike of the interactions he brushes me off because she's just a friend and she was there for him when he had nothing. The fact that he's never given me any other reason to distrust him. I don't believe my husband would be receptive to her if she tried anything, but the whole thing makes me extremely uncomfortable. Like chest pains uncomfortable. She asked him if we could come pick her up from work and then go to the town where we all went to high school, which is over an hour away. When he told her that wasn't something I would be remotely interested in, she continued to push him on it. We live a very quiet life. We are typically the couple that chooses a movie and takeout over going out under normal circumstances. All these people he's reconnecting with, including this woman, are all living the same aimless party lifestyle we left behind in high school. My anxiety has been through the roof ever since this all started and I don't know what to do. I love our life and I don't want it to change and I'm terrified of this woman driving a wedge between us. Relevant comments. Is your husband aware that these interactions are causing physical pain for you? OP's reply. I don't think he grasps how much it bothers me, but I'm trying not to have a complete meltdown and make myself look crazy. He thinks she's totally harmless and every time she calls it's Beth says hi. And I end up just quietly fuming in the corner. Same user replies. He needs to know. Your meltdown will be more severe the longer this goes on. He needs to know how much this hurts you. OP's reply. I know, I just need to find a way to convey my distress effectively. I trust my husband, I don't want him to feel like I don't. He is the kindest, most loving man I've ever met, but he can be very naive and often has to learn things the hard way. He always tries to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I've seen it with him in a number of different relationships with friends and family members. But this woman has never ever been good at respecting anyone's boundaries and he just refuses to acknowledge it. Update number 1. So, things reached a fever pitch with this situation today. I also got a reminder that, even if you don't think your kids are paying attention, they absolutely are. They are in tune with your emotions, and they hear and see everything 24/7 whether you realize it or not. It was a very low energy day for me NGL other than preparing dinner and taking my son, 16, to and from school. I pretty much stayed in bed. When my husband came home from work, as he was about to give our son a hug, my son stepped away and said we need to talk. He proceeds to light my husband up about talking to this woman. My husband and I were both so stunned. Our son is usually very quiet, he's a very patient person and almost never gets confrontational. He demanded that my husband block this woman and apologize to me. And he immediately complied, but I'm still feeling some kind of way about it. I don't like that my child was aware of what was going on obviously, and that he felt the need to defend me because that should never be something I want him to shoulder. It's my job to protect him. B. The fact that my husband complied immediately, but when I was saying the exact same things and making the same points I was brushed off? Is it because it came from our son? Is it because it came from someone who isn't a woman? I have no idea. Relevant comments. Reality check. When you said it, he thought you were jealous and trying to control him. When your son spoke to him, he acted out of character and got the point across that his father's behavior was not acceptable. It was a wake-up call to realize he was affecting the whole household and was being selfish by continuing to communicate with this woman. You should be very proud of your son for identifying a problem and having the strength to stand up to his father and address it. You're doing a good job raising this young man and should be very proud of him. Give him an extra hug and add an hour to his curfew. He deserves it. Coming from you, it was insecurity. Coming from his son, it was a slap across his face. Kids are smarter than parents like to accept. They have good intuition. I recommend family therapy for you all. I'm sure you're proud of your son. He is growing up to be a good man because you raised him up to be. Based on your comments, this is the first time your husband has done something like this. I honestly believe that it's not about gender, etc. Maybe he thought it was not a big deal. Maybe the girl has conditioned him, telling him you might react like this, etc. But your son calling him out probably was a slap in the face. So yeah, he probably could have explained away your discomfort as a jealous wife, etc., but couldn't when it came from his own kid. OP's reply: I think you're totally right, his whole demeanor completely changed when my son confronted him. You might think it's none of my business, she's your wife, but she's also my mom and you're upsetting her for no good reason and that's all there is to it. Update number 2. Okay you guys, it was a very, very long day. My husband and I sat down and discussed the situation alone after I dropped the kiddo off at school. He was very remorseful and more than a little embarrassed about our son calling him out. He apologized again. I told him that I needed more than an apology from him since I stated, very clearly, that the interactions with Beth were very distressing to me and he essentially disregarded them. I've been on fertility shots for the last 2 months so my emotions are extremely heightened and I did not need this on top of that. He still insists that he had no ill intentions in these exchanges with Beth and if he believed she was trying to poach him he would have put a stop to it, but he acknowledges that he should have stopped when I first asked, that he should have made a better effort to see it from my side and he's willing to go counseling to earn both mine and our son's trust back. After we picked up our son from school we took him to get ice cream and my husband apologized for putting him in a spot that made him feel like he needed to come to my defense. He also said he was proud of him for doing so. We offered to take our son to counseling with us, but he declined and said as long as my husband promises not to engage any further with Beth then they're good. My husband messaged the other people in his friend group and let them know that while he would love to stay in contact with them and visit occasionally, it will have to happen without Beth around.